This is Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Brian, Hadad, and Robbie Faulk here with you on a Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here at SuperTalk.fm or wherever it is that you get podcasts from. We appreciate you guys out there, our great listeners, especially our servicemen and women out there taking care of us. I want to thank our sponsors over at Strange Brew Coffee House and Churn and Spoon Ice Cream. Start your day the right way with a trip to the drive-thru over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville or at Brupolo over in Tupelo. It would be a little weird, Robbie, if Brupolo was in Bunkley.
That would be really weird.
Not Bunky.
There's an important distinction to be made there.
No, we're not Bunky.
As we've seen, Bunky, Louisiana is
that's a real place.
And their high school football team is on a tear. Did I mess up your camera?
I don't think you did. I think when I was cleaning up the peanuts earlier, I
made peanut shells just all over the place.
Somebody got my peanuts.
I got
my bag of my pizza popcorn peanuts here that I like to snack on every now and then. I went to move it and it was open, and I know I sealed that bag last night I was eating out of.
We have a squirrel in our midst.
A squirrel
somewhere.
Well, what is this? Tad Smith Coliseum?
Exactly.
Wherever you are in our great state, you can enjoy Strange Brew Coffee each and every morning. It's just a click away. It's at strangebrewcoffeehouse.com. The holidays are coming up. Order it. Order it for your family.
Yes.
College Corner, collegecornerstore.com. Speaking of the holidays, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, even if you're not a State fan, you're probably an Ole Miss fan. College Corner is the place to go for everything maroon and white and red and blue, I guess. That's fine. Black Friday is coming up. They're going to have a great special on Black Friday, but as the holidays get closer, you're thinking about what to put under the tree, think about College Corner. 2 locations to serve you in the Jackson area, Ridgeland by Fleet Feet, Flowway by the Half Shell, or you can shop online, collegecornerstore.com. Restaurant Tyler is Starkville's flagship restaurant for lunch, dinner, Sunday brunch. The best meal in town is always at Restaurant Tyler. If you want to get lunch in the city of Starkville, you want to go to Restaurant Tyler. That's the best blue plate in town, maybe even in the state of Mississippi, maybe even in the South. It's really good. It's really, really good. I enjoyed eating there, ate there last week. We'll be back very, very soon. Hope to see you there. Hope to see you there, Robbie.
Well, you did see me there.
I did see you there.
We didn't even plan to go to Restaurant Tyler together. We both went separately.
We ended up there.
We did it at the same time and everything.
Yeah, it was good. I played for keeps.
It was crazy.
Yeah, there you go.
We're both on the same page.
We usually are.
But, yep.
I thought you were like making a gesture there. You were just moving. Okay.
I talk with my hands. I'm very Nick Saban-esque whenever I talk.
Can get an eye?
That's where the comparisons stop.
Yeah.
Is we talk with our hands and that's it.
You're much taller.
Exactly. The comparisons stop.
Okay. All right. Priority One Bank, 16 locations to serve you throughout central Mississippi. Let PriorityOneBank.com be your guide. Let them show you not only where they're located, but they're going to show you how to invest, how to manage your money, how they're going to help you plan for the future. Now more than ever, you need to have quick answers when you have questions about your money. Priority One Bank can provide that for you. They provide a level of service you can't get at those big corporate banks. Let Priority One Bank make you their priority. It's Tuesday. Means we're talking Jeff Lebby press conference. We're going to do our SEC picks. We must address the elephant in the room, though. And I will get that right now. If you're watching us on YouTube, first off, we appreciate you tuning into that. However, we have not. I mean, it's just a video. Surely there's not any software or anything that you can, help edit a video with. Until that's invented, if you want to hear from future Brian to tell you about what happened at Mississippi State's college basketball opener tonight against West Georgia, only available on the audio version of the podcast.
We will get that rectified soon.
It should be by the next week. We should be good to go, and we'll have some new features here on the podcast. I'm going to put a filter up that makes my face much more attractive because I know we've been getting a lot of complaints about that.
Yes,
the podcast is great, but Hadad is just hideous.
Well, I don't know what they expected. I mean, for both of us,
I think maybe like one.
Did you expect us to be good looking?
No, it's just all me though. Everybody's like Robbie's a handsome young man, but
no,
stop. Hadad.
I was so scared to click this.
It looks like someone opened the Ark of the Covenant
and melted.
Yeah. What are you scared to click? Don't click links that you're scared to click in my office. I don't need that showing up on the records.
It's on our message board. Who are you voting for? On our message board, it's like, no.
I saw that earlier today. I was like,
chicken restaurant.
I was just like, I can't believe someone. And then I looked at it, I was like, okay, It's
Former bully, you're trolling.
yeah, it was all chicken tender places. Did you vote for your favorite? Bigger
Let's
cult,
look.
Trump or Canes? I don't know the answer.
Let's look at what we got here. Oh, this is
What's winning?
let's see.
It's got to be Popeyes.
I mean, they're not really all created equal, are they? Like,
Well, I mean, there's differences. There's chicken tender restaurants and there's chicken restaurants.
okay, well, I went with Popeyes because of the variety.
Yeah, Popeyes is
It has 14 votes out of 120. Cane's is number one. 38% of the vote goes to Cane's. Chick-fil-A is Chick-fil-A is would probably be my number one. That's where I go more than any of these other places.
It's second.
Well, I mean, Popeyes to me is a more complete restaurant outside of the fact that if you ask for, boneless chicken, you might get boned chicken, or you might
part of the ambiance.
Like it's a mystery box.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I might ask for red beans and rice, and I get half macaroni and cheese and half mashed potatoes. Like they just come in the bowl together. Like we're just going to give them a scoop of mashed potatoes and a scoop of mac and cheese.
There you go.
And instead of the red beans and rice.
It's delicious.
Did you see the one that time where the chicken sandwich thing was like such a craze?
Yeah.
And did you see that video the time where like these two cars were like converging in the lane? One of them was trying to brake, and the guy literally like they had one of the barriers up, like to keep people on each side. The dude like scraped the barrier as hard as he could just to get in front of this person to get a chicken sandwich.
The chicken sandwich is good. It's good. I'm gonna read a
quote. I had one time and it was not even cooked.
Well,
so
that's not good.
That's the other Popeyes ambient. Like it may be cooked, it may not be cooked.
I was in there the other day. I'm not making this up. This guy brought his chicken and he said the chicken was green. Now, I don't know about that. And then he was like, I don't know what happened, but next thing I know, I hear, "Stop filming me." And he's like, "I'm gonna go call the police." Call the police then.
Which has probably been stated, 100,000 times to the Popeyes
car. And they're trying to get his license plate number and all this, and I'm just like,
the customer.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Popeyes people turned it on him.
Oh, yeah, they turned it around.
Oh man, you can't beat them.
Yeah,
you really cannot beat them.
Before we go any further, before we talk about Jeff Lebby's press conference. Oh, wait. Long story short, if you want to hear future Brian.
This segment is longer than Jeff Lebby's press conference.
It is.
Us talking about Popeyes.
It is. I'm going to read a quote to you. I want you to tell me who said this. College football coach or Gene's Page poster? Here we go. In most cases, the people who are being negative and voicing their opinions are the same ones who can't pay their own bills.
I'm going to say that, very likely that it was a poster, but I'm going to say it's a college football coach.
It was Mike Gundy at today's press conference.
There you go.
So, but if you had told me that it was Ivan Skavinsky-Skavar or whatever.
The thing is, like, I could see Mike Gundy being a message board poster on that
100%.
site.
So, all right. Let's get into Jeff Lebby today. Started off talking about Josh Heupel, his great respect for Heupel.
Skavinsky.
Skavinsky.
How many times did that guy threaten to leave? Like, we finally got to the point where we were like, I don't know about the other people that were working with us, but me and Paul talked about it. We're like, we finally were just saying, like, should we implement that rule that
Rule 14
that Six Pack has?
Yes.
Where if you say that you're going to leave, you're out.
Yeah, and you got to ban them by like email address or something where they can't get back in.
Like IP address, you're out.
Well, IP address doesn't work anymore
because he would say, "This is my last day. I'll see y'all later," and then the next day he's got a different name and he's back. It's just crazy.
Did I say something bad about poor old State?
I don't remember that.
Okay, I think there's sarcastics on there, so I'm sure he's just messing around. I don't know what I said though.
You'll have to ask.
I'll find out. Jeff Lebby. So let's get in. Let's try to as positive as you can be with a 2-7 football team that's staring 2-10 right in the face. I will say this: Lebby to me has remained positive throughout this. When Moorhead was taking adversity, it was obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the tone of his press conferences. Arnett, after week 2, you could tell he was drowning up there and had no idea what to say. And so the tone. Lebby's press conferences have been the same every week. And it goes back to something we talked about when he got the job, that he's just been kind of building to this point. When he was hired, clearly he was the next guy to be hired, right? It was his time to be a head coach.
Yeah.
Same way it kind of was with Mullen when it was his time.
I feel like he probably would have got a job if it not been in Mississippi State. I feel like
He would have gotten a job in this last cycle. Yeah.
And his time at Oklahoma seemed like it was going to be done after all the stuff with Art Briles, all that.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Like there's something about the guy. You just can't like get him flustered, you know. And like I don't think any of us have tried. We haven't been hard on him or anything like that.
There hasn't been a time where I had a question where I was like, he's not going to like it.
Yeah, but I mean, he's one of those people who's like he doesn't allow you to get the best of him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't allow the noise to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
He is I mean, he's just measured. Like you can tell that he is not. He probably isn't even going to listen to a lot of people about a lot of different things,
mm-hmm.
which is what we saw I think we saw that with Moorhead some and definitely with Arnett.
Mm-hmm.
They just put their trust in too many people.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't think that's him. I think but at the same time, I think he's reasonable enough. Like if he sees something that he needs to change his way of thinking, he'll do it.
Right.
But yeah,
he showed that in the Texas game where he slowed down the tempo and everything else.
But I think every press conference is, for the most part, it's kind of been the same. I mean,
there's no question about that. It's like
we didn't learn much at all. We don't learn much at all at these things.
Right.
But it's. I think I do think we've learned a little bit about his relationship with his quarterbacks the last few weeks, though. Like that, when he talks about his quarterbacks, I think that's as open as he's been.
I agree, and I asked him about Van Buren today. I asked him. I phrased it basically like because I wanted to talk about him and Heupel at the same time. They recruited Dylan Gabriel to Central Florida, and I was like, "What are some characteristics that he shares with Van Buren at this stage?" And he went through them. But that was probably the most, I don't know if I'm not saying he lit up when I asked that question, but I am saying
kind of did.
Well, yeah, he was happy to talk about something other than, hey, your team's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was. I thought we got a good, insightful answer out of him on that one.
Well, I think he does see like Gabriel's been my comp for Van Buren, from the start. I see a lot of similarities, and I think he does too. Jeff Lebby, I think he sees a lot of similarities in the two, and I think that's why he's talked about he's been hard on Van Buren, at least from demands.
He talked about that. He's like he needs to play better, and I think the average fan would look at it and go, "Wow, he's played really well."
Yeah,
and Lebby's telling you that there's more to his game.
Last week he said, everybody's talking about how great he is, and all the great things he's doing as a freshman. Which is his age has changed several times when talking about Van Buren for whatever reason. But he's a freshman. He's like one time he was 18,
he's like
and then
a Dominican baseball prospect. That age just keeps changing every time we talk about it.
Carlos from the Benchwarmers.
Yeah,
he's going to have a sheet of paper with a picture of him on there with a $20 bill like they did on Benchwarmers. No, he talked about last week. Everybody's talking about how great this kid is. And he's done some really good things, but all I can see is how much better he can be.
Right.
Like there's so many things that he's got to do better. And one of the things that he talked about, and I think this was a great point that he made after the game on Saturday, is a lot of things get said about offensive linemen. And this is coming from a person that played offensive line and was going to play at a very high level in the Big 12 before he got injured. And who knows beyond that, but he knows offensive linemen as good as anybody. Offensive linemen get blamed for a lot of sacks, and that's not always black and white like that. It's not always that the offensive line didn't protect. Sometimes it's a covered sack. Sometimes it's teams are just they got everybody locked down the field and there's nowhere for the quarterback to go. In this case, the other day, before they even watched film, he talked about how a lot of that was on Michael Van Buren. He's trying to move the pocket and he's running into sacks, or he's he hasn't quite figured out the pocket presence thing, and that's one of the things that he's working on. He was asked at the press conference what he saw and if it was kind of the same, and then he thought after they watched the film that it backed up what he thought during the game. So that's a few of the things. I think what we're already seeing Van Buren develop before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he handled things really well at Texas and Georgia, but you could still see some things. I brought up a few weeks ago. I would love to see him progress a little more in the run game, and how he's you know spying the defense, and he's pulling like he did the other day. He scored a touchdown. You're seeing him develop a little bit as far as the read options concerned, making his progressions. Now it's kind of like the pocket thing, like knowing when to move up in the pocket, step up and make a play,
Mm-hmm.
get out of the pocket, extend the drive, things like that. That's what they're working on right now with him. And I think what's been really cool was to kind of see the relationship that Van Buren has with Jeff Lebby
Mm-hmm.
dating back to his high school days. And I asked Van Buren about that after the game the other day, and he talked about just the the way that Lebby approaches him and coaches him shows that he cares. It's not he doesn't seek him out and tell him about everything bad that he's doing. I get the sense that Lebby truly, he coaches these kids, especially at the quarterback position. He coaches them instead of yells at them or, like what we saw the other day with ULM with their offensive line coach. I think that's my biggest takeaway right now is he has a really good relationship with a lot of these guys, and that goes back to your point that you made coming in. Like he's remaining positive.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you have to be right now. You can't turn this thing into a dumpster fire in the locker room. You've
Mm-hmm.
got to maintain some stability in there. Give them, like he says, a consistent voice. As often as we hear some of the stuff he says, that's just like over and over and over. I think that is important to remain the same through the wins and the losses.
And that leads us into the sign, which is brought to you by our good folks over at Pip Printing and Signs, who want to remind you that they say they can serve every business. Every business is got a path with Pip Printing and Signs. I've been saying path a lot lately because we're talking about the playoffs a lot. Your path should lead you to Pip Printing and Signs if you're a business owner because they're the best and they can get your message out easier, faster, more concise, and more attention grabbing than anybody else can. Call Cam Baker and tell him you heard about him on Thunder and Lightning, that you want your business to have the experience and the know how of Pip Printing and Signs behind them. And best of all, if you're a Mississippi State fan, 10% of your sale directly to the Bulldog Initiative in your name. When you need printing, call Pip today. So for me, the sign was this. We asked him about Heupel, a couple questions about them. I think you had the second one. And it's obvious that he has a ton of respect for him. He said that as much. He said, I have more respect for him than almost anybody else in this business. I think he's probably not, Heupel's first year, I think they went to a bowl. I think they were 6-6. So they're having a little bit more success. But at the same time,
At Tennessee,
at Tennessee,
yeah, and you could see they were making some major strides. They were competing with Alabama a little bit.
I don't think that he's on the same path as Heupel. He's a little further down. I don't know. His year 2 at Mississippi State might look like Heupel's year 1 at Tennessee, but that's the path that Jeff Lebby wants to emulate. He wants to do at Mississippi State what Josh Heupel has been able to do at Tennessee. That's how he's going to try to run his program.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little tougher. They have, the resources are not anywhere near the same stratosphere, but I think they're very similar guys. I mean, Josh Heupel is not a media darling by any means or controversial figure. He's a football guy that loves coaching football, that loves developing quarterbacks, runs an exciting offense. And these are two guys that came up together around the same time. I think he might have been a year or two before Lebby at Oklahoma. Whenever he was coming up, he was quarterback at Oklahoma. I think he was late '90s or maybe 2000, and I think Lebby came in a couple years later. But they did coach together whenever Heupel started his coaching career. He was a GA, and Lebby talked a little bit about their relationship coming up together. Lebby's a student assistant who had his football career ended, and he went straight into coaching when he was in college. Like he got a head start, and Heupel had just finished college, coming in and he was coaching after his professional career, and those two just hit it off. They were, matter of fact, they were in the same office together, and he talked about just everything that they had kind of bounced off of each other. He learned a lot from Heupel, and Heupel even learned some things from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, coached with him at UCF. They coached against each other. They know each other very well.
Mm-hmm.
They run similar styles offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, like, how much do you take from what he's done there? Because Tennessee was in bad shape, like really bad shape.
Yeah.
And they had been in bad shape for quite some time. And Heupel has now brought them back to where they feel like they should be, competing for a playoff every year, competing to be inside the top 10. And I think Lebby sees a lot of what he's doing, and he's trying to implement the same way.
And if he can do that, Mississippi State's going to be in a good spot because, I mean, Tennessee is now one of the top programs in college football. They will probably be in the college football playoff this year. They had a great chance to be in it 2 years ago. So Josh Heupel, to me, we talked about this the other day. When you go back to the 2018 coaching cycle, where State got Moorhead and all these, so many bad hires in that. Heupel just getting promoted at Central Florida was the best of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think, gosh, if State had gotten ahead of the curve on that one and brought in Heupel, he probably brings Lebby with him. And then if Heupel does take a better job after 3 or 4 years, Lebby's just there to promote.
And Tennessee hired Jeremy Pruitt, which is arguably the worst hire of that entire.
Incredibly, in the SEC that year, you had 3 hires. You had State, Arkansas, and Tennessee. And somehow State, firing with a guy they fired after 2 seasons, had the best hire.
And
Moorhead was better than Pruitt and Chad Morris.
Arkansas and State both hitting I guess it was Tennessee too. Didn't they all make coaching changes at the same time twice?
Mm-hmm.
Did Tennessee make a coaching change in 2020? 2019, 2020?
Heupel's first year.
Or was he 21?
I'm trying to remember.
Pruitt might have got one more.
Pruitt got canned at the end of COVID, so he
got one more year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Arkansas and State the same time twice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. So that's the sign. Again, brought to you by Pitt Printing, signs that Jeff Lebby would like to. I mean, and I don't think Mississippi State fans will be mad. Again, I think he's a year behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Year 2 for
State's a much bigger rebuild. Just
I don't know that. I mean, do you have a Hendon Hooker?
Yeah,
because that's a guy that nobody was talking about. Blake Shapen could have been that guy if the defense is a little bit better, I think.
And Van Buren might be your Hendon Hooker next year.
Yeah, well, I'm just talking about like in terms of they brought in a transfer that nobody was talking about, and they turned him into the best quarterback in the country.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if you got that or not.
But I think with Heupel and I would put Lane Kiffin and Lebby in there too is their misses at quarterback are almost nil.
Yeah,
like they know what they're looking for in a quarterback. Yeah. And they're hitting every time. I mean, how many times have you seen a 5-star or a 4-star kid come in that you feel like are just going to be studs and they don't ever do anything? Well, that's happened at Mississippi State a lot.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel like those guys miss. I mean, Nico has had his issues, but the kid's a redshirt freshman.
You can see the talent.
Yeah, he's going to be
and then
really good.
With Ole Miss, like when Dart's gone, you can see that Simmons.
I can see Austin Simmons sliding in.
He is a star.
Because, I mean, we talked about what are they going to do after Matt Corral's gone?
Yeah,
and
they went and got Dart.
Dart wasn't super impressive at USC. He lost his job there.
Mm-hmm.
He was a 5-star, but he gets in there and immediately is making a difference for them. And I think that's going to happen at State, at Tennessee, and at Ole Miss every year.
Next year, Ole Miss will either have Simmons, who I think is going to be a really good player, or they'll go to the portal and they'll get another good quarterback because people want to play in that offense.
Yep.
So we'll see.
It just works. This offense is quarterback centric.
Yeah.
And they make it work. They get the best out of it. And even people have asked us, like what's this season look like if Blake Shapen is healthy? I don't think it changes.
It's not any different.
I think the offense, could have been better. I don't know, but I don't think he would have been worse than Van Buren.
You might have found a way to beat A&M.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think Shapen would have been perfectly fine. Yeah. I didn't find anything wrong with what he was doing.
That's why I think there's going to be a real quarterback battle when we go to the spring.
Hopefully he stays.
Yeah,
that's best case scenario for you is you keep Blake Shapen because it is a little bit of a concern because now you have a guy that it's tough to see Van Buren giving that spot away now. But if you can convince Blake Shapen to stay, that's one less issue that you have to worry about, and you have a legit quarterback battle next year.
Yeah. Let's move into our SEC picks. It's brought to you by our friends over at the Mississippi Beef Council, who want to remind you that beef, it is what's for dinner. Whatever you're cooking out this weekend, make it beef. Put some steaks on the grill. It's, the weather, it's not quite cold enough out there to say it's chilly weather yet, but we're getting close enough. You can at least get
Not at all yet, but
yeah. We're still in the 80s. That's fine.
Sometimes I try to will
Yeah.
the chill in the air
Yeah.
into existence.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's just start cooking chili.
You need that video you did for like Southerners when it rains.
Yeah.
You need to do one for Southerners when it gets cold.
Exactly.
You
like immediately you put on a sweatshirt, it's like, oh well, I mean it's 82 degrees.
You walk outside, you walk outside, you come back in, you go back outside, you got a sweater on, you got a fleece pullover on, you're like, it's time.
The second the humidity drops,
that's when you start.
Because right now, like 75, 80 degrees does not feel like it did
it's
last
still,
month.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you start pulling the chili out,
that's when it's time.
It's time.
So do it. Maybe we all work together. We can have it. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Thanks to our friends at the Mississippi Beef Council. Two Brothers Smoked Meats in the heart of the Cotton District is the place to find the smoked Southern soul food you are looking for. As we were in the Cotton District today, I looked and they were in fact still closed on Monday. I don't know what to do. I thought we told them to be open, but they weren't.
We just set outside with the big the boom box that John Kustak.
In your eyes, the
your
light,
eyes.
the heat, your eyes. I am complete. Yeah, we needed that. I would do that.
That's a great song.
Yeah,
Peter Gabriel.
Yeah. Better Than Ezra did a fantastic cover.
They did.
Yeah, check that out.
I forgot all about that.
There you go.
Sledgehammer still #1 Peter Gabriel song.
Yes, I agree with that.
Which was, I believe, the first music video on MTV, right?
No.
Was
MTV
it
been around for like 5-6 years from that.
Had it?
The first music video on MTV was "Video Killed the Radio Star."
So what was the it was the first something on MTV?
What was his first solo?
No, I think it was there was something about it that was like
maybe it's like the first with that animation style.
It could have been.
I don't know. We say all that to say that the food at Two Brothers Smoked Meats is outstanding. And if you like Peter Gabriel or if you don't, you'll still like the food at Two Brothers and at the older brother, the home of the fancy sandwich. Our ad reads today have just been incredible.
Well, sometimes you gotta
do what you gotta do. Great products, great service. Every business likes to promise it to you. They deliver it to you at Advantage Business Systems. That's what they've been doing for 50 years. 50. When you need technology for your business, give Advantage Business Systems a call. And then if you need service on something they've sold you, it's just a click away. It's just a call away. Talk to the same people who made you the sale. They treat you like a neighbor, not a number at Advantage Business Systems. 601-362-9192 or visit them online at absms.com. Find out how Advantage Business Systems will help your business do business. Before you go to the games this fall or starting up this winter, you need to head to Maroon & Co. If you're in Starkville and you need Mississippi State gear, Maroon & Co. is the place to go. They've got a bigger and better selection than anybody else. They are the exclusive providers for the Bulldog Initiative. So if you want the hoodies and the pullovers and the polos you see the coaches wearing all the time, you can only get them at Maroon & Co. Use our promo code Thunder15 for 15% off any regular price items. Some exclusions do apply. Before you're at the games, make sure you're at Maroon & Co.
Sledgehammer was the most played music video on MTV ever.
There it is.
That's what it was.
I can believe that too because
it was a very interesting.
That was before your people took MTV away from us in Vicksburg. So
my people,
your people. Oh yeah.
Who are my people?
You know who I'm talking about.
I do?
You do.
Who are my people?
The church you belong to.
The Baptist?
Oh, they took it away.
They took MTV away from Vicksburg?
Yeah. They complained about it.
Let me just say that my dad is a Baptist preacher and introduced me to AC/DC.
Well, he was one of the good ones.
Yeah, I mean, like, my mom was the one that you have a beef with.
I would never have beef with her.
She threw away my Ozzy Osbourne CDs, my AC/DC CDs.
She probably did that because you did something.
And then my dad would put me back in the car and we go to Walmart and buy another one.
All right. I am 4 games out in the Pick'em contest. I am starting to drown here. So Robbie has been kind enough.
And Brian can't say that I've been playing defense because I picked
No.
first in the Ole Miss game the
Yeah.
other day.
Yeah. So
And picked Ole Miss.
So he's going to pick first in all the games going forward. All right. And if I catch back up, maybe we'll change it up. But let's just jump right into
Next
it.
year we need to keep up with our actual record just to see how accurate we are on the picks.
Okay. I'll be down for that. We'll do that next year. All right. Florida at Texas. Billy Napier did say today he thinks that DJ Lagway could be available for this game. I don't think that makes a huge difference, though, Robbie. I'm willing to pick first in this one. I think because we're both going to take Texas to win.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I feel very good about that. But I will say Florida is not the dumpster fire that we thought they were going to be. They're
okay.
keeping their head above water.
They're kind of like State. They keep fighting.
And, I just don't see
No
way they're going to – I don't think they're going to fire Billy Napier at this point.
No, I don't think so either. I think he's back. All right. Number 2, Georgia at number 16, Ole Miss. The Bulldogs are a 2.5-point favorite. 2:30 kickoff at Vaught Hemingway. Obviously, a massive game. Ole Miss wins, and they have a pretty clear path to the college football playoff. A loss would basically eliminate them. Who are you taking?
I'm going to go with Georgia in this game. They've been playing very mid for the better part of this year, but almost every time their backs are kind of against the wall, so to speak, or people start counting them out, that's when they really start to turn it up. Like, that's like their, jolt. I don't know, how Kirby Smart does it, but he convinces them that everybody's against them. Nobody thinks they're going to win games. The best thing that could possibly happen to them this week is ESPN FPI saying that they have a 45% chance of winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you that Kirby Smart has that on a PowerPoint today in the team meeting. Look, I told y'all, nobody believes in you, and that's going to be the difference.
Okay.
They're going to be motivated to win this game.
I will say this.
What was the game a few weeks ago where was it they played Tennessee? Who did they play a few weeks ago?
Georgia?
Yeah, that was a blow. Yeah, Texas.
Yeah.
And that was a game that was kind of like your trendy pick for them to lose, and they didn't.
Right.
So I think they found a way, and at that point, a 3-loss Ole Miss team. I mean, I just don't see a way in.
No, they wouldn't get in.
With 2 of their losses being to a LSU team and a god awful Kentucky team.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do that then.
Got to.
You did this on purpose.
You told me the other day that they're going to win. So
no, I said I think that they could win, and I do think they can win. They're playing better than Georgia is right now. They figured some things out. They got a big swagger back last weekend.
They're capable of winning this game because they have the defensive line talent.
Here, you know what I'm going to do though. By taking Ole Miss, I have plausible deniability on everything. Like I have reverse jinxed this Ole Miss thing I can't do much more.
Yeah.
I said they were going 11-1. I bet on them to win the national title. I'm going to pick them to win this game. I've done everything I can do.
Just keep picking them to win.
Yeah. All right, so I'll take the Rebels. South Carolina at Vanderbilt.
Ooh, this is an interesting game here.
In soccer terms, we would say this is a tasty fixture here.
This shouldn't be on the SEC Network at 3:15.
This is a good game. Texas should be the 3:15 game. Mm-hmm. Florida at Texas or Oklahoma at Missouri. It's 2 unranked teams.
I don't believe I just don't believe in South Carolina being
They're so up and down.
There's too much inconsistencies with this team,
mm-hmm.
and the pattern that we've seen from them is this will be a down week for them. They just got a huge win at home. You're going on the road against a mentally tough Vanderbilt team that's well coached. Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt just does not beat themselves this year. This is a different kind of team. Now, they did early on in the season, but I feel like it's like Clark Lee said about this team. Like, he doesn't think they could have beaten Alabama had they not lost the way they did to Missouri or Georgia State, the other loss they had.
Right.
So I'm taking Vanderbilt. I believe in Vanderbilt at this point. I believe that they are a good team. Like, that's the thing. I don't think there's a fluke thing about this team. I think they're actually a good team.
Yeah.
So I'm taking them, and they've been really good at home.
Yeah, they're the underdog.
Wow.
South Carolina's a 3.5-point favorite. Oh, but they were an underdog last week and easily covered.
I cannot count on South Carolina. I can't.
I can't. Yeah. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna stay with you on this one. I'm gonna take the Commodores. I don't like that
You
one.
can't make too big of a risk right
Yeah.
now.
I'm gonna take two games. This next one's the next one. Number 11 Alabama at number 14 LSU. I don't have a good feeling about this game one way or the other, so I am just gonna pick against you here. So whatever you do, you do. 6:30 kick, ABC. Looking forward to watching that one. Of course, it'll be on at the same time as Mississippi State, so I'll have to quad box or something there. But big game. This is a college football playoff limit. This is a college football playoff game.
Yeah,
because the loser's out.
Loser's out.
The winner is all but it's very likely to be in when you look at the remaining schedule for these two teams. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with LSU for the simple fact that they're in Tiger Stadium.
Okay.
This is not a great LSU team by any means, but they're really good at home. That weird stuff just happens there. Alabama's too shaky to feel confident in, so I'm gonna go with LSU here.
I'll be honest with you. I was kind of leaning towards Alabama just a touch, but I would have gone either way. I'll take Alabama here to get the win, and man,
and LSU still technically could play in the SEC championship.
They could very easily.
That's what's wild
funny
about this.
What is Alabama if they miss the playoff this year in his first year when they have the most Saban players they're ever going to have?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
Their identity is going to look totally different
Yeah.
in the coming years. They are not going to look like they have under Nick Saban. I think it's already slipping a little bit. They're going to be a totally different looking team. The years of them just being this big bad force like on the defensive side of the ball, like I just don't see that same like mentality anymore with them. So I think this is going to be a totally different looking team. I still think they're going to be consistently top 15, top 10, but is that going to be enough to have this fan base, understand this isn't Nick Saban and, be okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm still of the opinion that this guy is going to be the forgettable piece of the Alabama franchise when it's all said and done. Like I just think Kellen DeBoer is going to be the expendable. He's just going to be he's going to have 2 or 3 years where he wasn't that bad, but he wasn't Nick Saban, so they get rid of him.
Exactly. Big news out of A&M just now. Le'Veon Moss out for the season.
Yeah, it was
a big blow.
Well, he got carted off the other day, didn't he? Or something.
I don't know if he got caught. I mean, he was standing on the sidelines during the game.
Yeah, it was apparent it was a serious injury.
That's rough. That's a rough loss for them.
Yeah, I imagine they're going to start tailing down a little bit.
Well, I mean, you look at their schedule; they should be fine, but until they play Texas, maybe they go 9-3. Who do they have left? A&M they're off this week. New Mexico State at Auburn.
Yeah,
they'll go 9-3. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, they're still just not hitting their.
Yeah.
I mean, the money they're spending.
All right. So we're different on those two, and then Oklahoma at Missouri.
Ugh.
Missouri is going to go 10-2.
And not make the
playoff. Not even be considered for it. If they had just beaten A&M, but they couldn't do that. I'll go first. Missouri's going to win this game. Oklahoma is awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but Oklahoma's played better. I know it was Maine, but they played.
On. Don't do that.
They did. They looked a lot better offensively against Ole Miss
in the first half.
Yeah, but I mean. I don't know. I mean, I'll go with Missouri, I guess, since it's at home. Is Brady Cook still out?
They haven't said it, I don't think.
If he's out, it could be interesting. I just don't know if Oklahoma's got the dudes at this point.
Agreed.
I don't know if they had the dudes to beat Missouri. Could we have said that last year?
No. Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU. Robbie will either put it away this weekend or I'll get back into it. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. This is the point in the podcast where if you're listening on audio, we'll now go to our one and only correspondent here on Thunder and Lightning, Future Brian, to recap Mississippi State's college basketball opener against West Georgia. If you're watching us on YouTube, this is the time where we will say goodbye. Talk to you guys later. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian Hadad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk, Mississippi.